Stuck in overthinking? Your fix is here. Welcome to episode 101. I'm so glad you're here with me today because we're discussing something that I know many of us can relate to. Overthinking. You know what I'm talking about. Those late night thoughts, the what ifs, replaying conversations, constantly analyzing what you could have said or done differently. If you've been there, you're not alone. I've been there too. And today I want to offer some clarity, tools, and real talk about how to break free from overthinking so you can take action. By the way, my podcast platform has a new feature. If you have thoughts while you're listening, or maybe a question or topic idea, you can click the link in the show notes and send me a quick message. I'd love to hear from you. Let's make this a conversation, not just me talking to you. Now grab your coffee, tea, water, or just take a deep breath, and let's begin. Hi, I'm Clarinda, and you are listening to the Feel Light, Mind, and Body podcast, created for women like you. Women who are experiencing success in so many areas of life, but are struggling with weight loss, stress eating, and decreased energy. Losing weight can feel hard, heavy, and restrictive. That's why every week I will be offering you a different perspective, tips, encouragement, and a unique approach so that you can feel lighter in your mind and body rather than feeling deprived, frustrated, or discouraged. What if you could feel free, yet in control around food for the rest of your life? What if you could enjoy your experience of losing weight and getting healthier? You absolutely can. You're in the right place. Take this time for yourself and let's dive in. Are you an overthinker? Do you keep yourself up at night spinning stories in your head about things that you don't know if they're even true? Maybe you find yourself ruminating over things like, did I say the right thing? What did they mean by that comment? You anticipate outcomes that may never even happen, and you're constantly trying to plan for scenarios that are so far out of your control. Does this sound familiar? It's exhausting, right? What we're really talking about here is a battle with perfectionism and avoidance. Overthinking can often be a way to avoid the real work or decisions we need to make because we're afraid of the outcome. And I get it. Facing the unknown is scary. But here's the thing. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. That suffering often comes from inaction. When we feel stuck or immobilized, it's often because we're overthinking ourselves into a corner. We think, maybe if I just sit on this long enough, the problem will go away. But how often does that really happen? Hardly ever, right? Overthinking becomes a trap where we circle the same problem over and over again, but we never move forward. The answer to your problem is not in the same loop of thoughts. It's about breaking free from that loop, looking at it from a fresh perspective, and taking action. So how do we break the overthinking cycle? How do we get out of our heads and into action? One of the simplest but most effective tools I recommend is journaling. But here's the key. Don't journal in a shameful or critical way. Use your journal as a place to get those thoughts out of your head and onto paper, where you can see them for what they really are. Most of the time, when we see those thoughts on paper, we realize they're not as scary or overwhelming as we thought. We may also realize, oh my, that's not even true. I don't even know that for sure. Another thing I recommend is prayer or meditation. If you pray, tap into that. Center yourself, quiet your mind, start with gratitude, then ask for guidance. Or if meditation is more your thing, take a few minutes to breathe and focus on being present. I do both. Sometimes it also helps to confide in a trusted friend or spouse. But keep in mind that while they may sympathize, they're often too close to the situation to help you find the solution. They might mean well, but sometimes we need someone with an outside perspective to help us break free from that overthinking cycle. That's where having a coach can be so powerful. My job is to help you see what's really going on in that overthinking, beautiful mind of yours and bring you back to a neutral place. a place where you can think objectively and make decisions from a calm, centered space. When you're in that middle ground, new ideas can flow, and you're able to use the prefrontal, executive thinking part of your brain. That's the part that can actually move you forward instead of keeping you stuck in the present problem. And have you ever noticed it's so much easier to show love and kindness to other people? But what about showing that same compassion to yourself? What if you learned how to have self-compassion while still taking action? That's been a common theme with my private coaching clients, as well as a Feel Like group coaching program for the past 2 weeks. Self-compassion doesn't mean you let yourself off the hook and avoid responsibility. It means you give yourself grace while creating a plan to move forward. Thoughts like, "Come on, get it together," or "How could you be so stupid?" They might seem like they're pushing you to act, but they're really sabotaging you. You would never say that to someone you love, so why say it to yourself? Next, consider the truth of this statement. Your thoughts are blocking you. Here's what I want you to know. All those BS stories you're telling yourself, they're blocking you. They're fear-based, not faith-based. Those self-critical thoughts, they're closing doors for you. Doors to new opportunities, healthier relationships, and growth. You will consciously or unconsciously push people and opportunities away from yourself. When you're stuck in a loop of overthinking, especially about things that have already happened, you're wasting precious energy. I know you've been there, replaying a conversation over and over, analyzing every word someone said or didn't say. But the truth is, that conversation is over. What could you have done better? Maybe something, maybe nothing. But at the end of the day, the moment has passed. We've got to learn from it, move on, and stop overthinking the what-ifs. If you make time to do that during the day, do it sooner rather than later, it can save ruining the opportunity for restorative sleep. Let's be real, overthinking tends to hit hardest at night. When the day is done and we're lying in bed, that's when our imagination runs wild. So much easier to get stuck in that thought loop when we don't have the energy to supervise it. That's one of the reasons why I created the 100th episode of the podcast as a sleep meditation. It's there for you whenever you need it to help quiet those ruminating thoughts and get some deep restorative sleep. Check it out. Trust me, you'll want to have that on hand for the middle of the night, wide-eyed, busy mind times. However, I highly recommend adding that to your bedtime routine. Listening to it then will help you get out ahead of it by moving you out of your fight or flight energy and into the parasympathetic mode, so you can let your mind and body process, heal, and restore. So, are you ready to break free from overthinking? To sum it up, start by being kind to yourself. Show yourself the same love and compassion that you would show a friend. Then, take action. Journal, pray, meditate, talk to someone who can offer an objective perspective. And remember, perfectionism is a trap. Action is where progress happens. I hope today's episode gave you something to think about, in a good way, not an overthinking way. Don't forget to check out the new feature in the show notes. Click the link to send me your thoughts, ask questions, or request a future episode topic. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast if you found today's episode helpful. Your feedback helps other women just like you find this resource, and it means the world to me. Thanks for listening, and remember, you've got this. I believe in you, and I'm here to help you take that next step. Until next time, stay empowered. Now, do yourself the biggest favor. From love, take at least one action step from what you learned today. Knowledge without application won't give you the results that you desire. Let me know on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever, what you are choosing to do and when. And yes, please leave a podcast review wherever you are listening to this. When people read your words and can see themselves in them, then you are contributing to women empowering other women. And that feels amazing. You just might change or save a life today.